Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a really personal recording that lays out one family's, well, audacious plan to basically engineer its own healing. And this isn't just about moving to a new house. It's a story about trying to move past generations of conflict using a tool that is truly from the 21st century.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. The whole story kicks off with this pretty incredible premise. You've got a man, Antonius, who is tasking an AI, in real time, mind you, with this monumental job. I need you to create a communication plan that will save my family. He's literally asking a machine to help him reverse engineer a path to family harmony. It's wild.
So what is this urgent mission? What's the big outcome he's trying to get the AI to map out? Well, he frames it as nothing less than a call to adventure for his entire family.
At its heart, the goal is a massive cross-country move. But, this isn't about a new job or just getting a change of scenery. It is driven by this deep, powerful conviction that their collective well-being, their ability to actually heal and build a new legacy, it all depends on being physically close to one another.
So let's meet the key players in this quest. You have Antonius, who sees himself as the linchpin, right? He's the architect trying to orchestrate the whole thing. Then there's his sister, Alicia. She's on board, but she's also living with their mom and her 2 kids, so she's right in the middle of the family dynamic. And then you have the brother Alexander and the mother Jen. Their buy-in is absolutely essential, but it's far from a sure thing.
And as you can probably imagine, this isn't just a simple logistical challenge of getting everyone from point A to point B. Now, the real obstacles here are these deep psychological patterns that have defined their relationships for years. These walls they built up.
And this quote from Alicia, it just nails it. She's describing what it's like to talk to her brother, Alexander. And you can feel her frustration, right? That feeling of just hitting a brick wall. No matter what she says or how she says it, he immediately gets defensive. And she's left wondering, why? This right here is the family's biggest barrier.
And it's really important to understand what's actually going on here. Defensive communication, it's not just a simple disagreement. It's a protection mechanism. It's a reaction to what someone perceives as a threat, and it doesn't matter if it's real or not. It makes a person either shut down completely or lash out, all to protect themselves from feeling attacked, or criticized, or shamed.
And this chart just lays it all out so clearly. On one side, you've got Alicia. Her intent is to be helpful, to share some information, maybe find some common ground. But on the other side, Alexander receives that exact same communication as a challenge to his ideas, or even a personal attack. And what happens? He retreats right back into that defensive posture. It's just this vicious cycle of misunderstanding.
Now, what's really fascinating here is that they don't just point fingers. Antonius and Alicia are self-aware enough to see their own part in all this. They actually call themselves firecrackers, admitting they have really short fuses. They know they can contribute to these explosive dynamics, which of course just makes finding a new way to communicate that much more urgent.
So, faced with these walls of defensiveness, coming from others but also from within themselves, Antonius has this huge realization. He figures out that just telling people the truth, no matter how obvious it seems to him, it just doesn't work. It's a failed strategy. He needs a totally new approach.
He starts looking at books like How to Win Friends and Influence People, and he realizes the whole game has to change. The strategy has to shift away from confrontation, away from direct statements that just trigger all that defensiveness. He needs to move toward a much more subtle path of influence.
So what does this new plan actually look like? Well, it's this 4-step strategy, and it's designed specifically to navigate all those emotional minefields. The big idea is to stop confronting and start influencing. So, step 1, you got to recognize defensiveness when it pops up. Then, and this is key, you ask questions instead of stating facts. You guide people to their own conclusions. Step 3 is all about self-control, managing your own emotions. And the final step? That's where the AI comes back in, using it to map out the whole thing to reverse engineer the perfect sequence of conversation.
But why? Why go through all this trouble? Why is such an elaborate, almost Machiavellian plan needed just to get a family to move? Well, it's because they believe the problem goes much deeper than just a few disagreements.
They believe the root cause of all this is something called generational trauma.
And what that means, really, is the idea that the emotional and psychological damage from traumatic events doesn't just stop with the people who went through them. It can be passed down, almost like an inheritance, shaping the relationships and behaviors of the next generation.
They see this as a really clear cycle. You have trauma from the past, from their parents' generation, and it's directly causing the defensiveness and conflict they're all living with right now. And so, the mission, the move, the AI, this whole communication plan, it's all a very conscious, very deliberate effort to step in and break that cycle, to stop it from continuing, and to create a totally different, healthier future for their own kids.
In this statement from Alicia, it's so raw, and it just shows you what the stakes are. She's watching her own kids see these same patterns of struggle play out. She sees how the unresolved problems of the past are forcing her and our own mother into these painful, dysfunctional roles, and it's messing with the most fundamental relationships in her children's lives. You can just hear how desperate she is to change that story for them.
So, if breaking the cycle of trauma is the mission, what's the treasure at the end of this quest? What's the new reality they're fighting so hard to build?
Their vision for the future it's everything. It's practical stuff, sure, like just being close enough to see each other regularly. But it's also about building a completely new foundation. A safe environment where the kids can actually thrive, away from all the conflict. A connection to the healing power of nature on the Oregon coast. And ultimately, a new family legacy. One that's defined by support instead of trauma.
And this right here, this is the hope that is fueling this entire incredible mission. It's this powerful belief that a new place, combined with a new way of talking to each other, can do more than just change their address. It can actually regenerate their souls and give the next generation a chance at a kind of freedom that they themselves never had.
And so it all comes down to this one powerful question. Is it actually possible? Can a plan, no matter how carefully engineered, truly heal the deep, complicated wounds of a family? It's an incredible gamble, and just a fascinating look into one family's very deliberate quest for a brand new beginning.